my god. Uh, I legit, my mom told me I have to wash my hair. So, fine. Totally. Okay. I hate washing my hair. Ow! Hey, I need some sensory glass. Oh my god, you're so not yourself. Dancing with my dog. Dancing with my dog. God. Oh God. Okay. That was just totally fun. Hi. Oh, so confused. Hang on. Oh my God. La 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 la. I'm singing. I really hope the shampoo not. If I'm putting in shampoo again. I hate this. Oh, I hate this. I, yes, I look for. I what hair? My rash dry. I mean wash dry. Try not to drop the laptop. It's always fun, right? Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, I look sick, but that will change in a sec. Oh, I fun, guys. I learned boringness, and I don't remember what I learned. I don't like wet hair. It's just icky. I don't know. I knew that was gonna happen. On the lights. Alright. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this mop. Huge, gigantic. So our principal, he was in the hallway today because apparently people have been wanting to cut themselves and like kill themselves and get into fights. So now we have two principals that stay in the freaking hallway at our school, and it sucks. And then I have PSAs coming up, so that's not fun. Then I have midterms, not midterms. I did my midterms. Then finals. So I'm gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like I'm gonna cry when I see PSAs because I have to do math PSAs, science PSAs, geography. Wait, not geography. Geography, we don't. Yes, I don't know what I'm doing in PSAs. So I don't know what I'm doing in geography when I have PSAs. I'm sorry if I look like a wet rat to you. I hate my hair when it's wet. But my mom, she was like, before I went to school today, she was like, oh yeah, when you get home, you have to do your hair. I'm like, why? She's like, just do your hair when you get home. I'm like, okay, gee. I look like a wet rat. Um, anyways, I don't know who many people are. My laptop's about to die. Fun, ain't it? It's always fun when the electronics are about to die. Yeah, sorry. Someone in my school got me sick, so, you know, I have to deal with it. Oh, I'm scared my earring came out. That would have hurt. I just yanked it out. I got yelled at by my principal because apparently he could see through my shirt today, which I don't know why he was actually staring there. And then I got sent to detention, and I was not happy. I'm sure my mom wasn't happy either. But, oh well, her problem, not mine. Because he was like, come here, Mia. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you do know your shirt is see-through, right? I'm like, it ain't. He's like, yeah, it is. He's like, I can see your bra. I'm like, in my head, I was like, why are you even staring there? And I'm like, well, I can go to my locker and change. He's like, no, go to detention. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm pulling my hair out. Oh my god. Oh, you're forgetting. I have to change my shirt when I go to TMI tonight, but yeah. It's hot. My sister don't love that much. Holy. I washed my hair over the tub. That floor's warm. It's a warm floor. Which cat was laying on it? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna die wearing this, but what this? I'm talking about the long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why are you putting on a long sleeve shirt?
Oh,
You're insane.
I know. Oof. I'm sleeveless, girl. Woo! I have no hands. Oh wait, yeah I do. You can see my fingers. Dumb, yeah. Oh,
I'm checking out some of the new things. Oh, you want to make it fresh.
I'm not.
And I'm sure we'll put it in there. Top 10 signs someone is secretly living in their house. Sure.
Welcome to Weirdly Interesting, where we have the answers to the questions you never knew you had. Could someone be living in your home without you knowing it? Today we're counting down the top 10 signs someone might be secretly living in your house. Squatters' rights, or adverse possession, as it's legally referred to, is one of the most poorly defined legal areas we currently have in America. The definitions vary wildly from state to state, city to city. In some places, a person can be legally protected and allowed to live in a home they used to own, even after a bank foreclosure.
Like, you're boring.
Ten weirdest things you never knew about sleep.
Today we're counting down the top 10 weirdest things you didn't know about sleep. We all know how much it sucks to go to work or school after not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
If you're doing it on a regular basis, needing a cat nap could be the least of your concerns. Studies show that consistently getting less than 6 to 8 hours of sleep increases your chance of an early death by 12%. Oh, and just to add insult to injury, sleep deprivation can also make you gain weight due to an increase in leptin, the hunger hormone. We tend to think our dreams is pretty private, but did you know they're actually populated with tons of real-life strangers? That's because your brain can't generate brand new faces from scratch. So instead, it reuses faces of people you've seen while awake and then consciously forgotten. Which, come to think of it, probably means we've all been in other people's dreams, too. Spooky. If you've ever been tempted to pull an all-nighter, make sure you get at least some shut-eye before you get up for that final exam or business presentation. Because studies show that sleep plays an important role in cementing newly acquired knowledge and memory. In fact, a 2012 study discovered that the sooner you go to bed after learning something, the better job your brain does at storing it. So definitely make sure you hit the hay right after watching this video. So you probably heard people complain about being half asleep after a rough night. For humans, it's just an expression, but for animals, it's actually possible. Whales, dolphins, felines, and some birds are equipped with an ability called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, which is really just a fancy way of saying that the left and right sides of their brains can take turns sleeping while the other stays awake. That way, the species can stay alert, evade predators, and even migrate across countries, all while they're half asleep. Before iPhones, people used alarm clocks to get up in the morning. But before that, they used other people. In Britain during the Industrial Revolution, men called knocker-uppers would charge customers a small fee to wake them up in the morning by tapping on their bedroom window with a long stick. Knocker-uppers tended to be night owls and would sleep during the day so they could be awake at the crack of dawn. And in some areas, they continued to be used until the 1970s. According to the National Sleep Research Project, the record for staying awake the longest is 18 days, 21 hours, and 40 minutes. It was actually broken during a rocking chair marathon, which apparently is a thing that exists. The record breaker exhibited symptoms ranged from blurred vision and slurred speech to paranoia and hallucinations. Yeah, that's one record we're not going to try to break anytime soon. Cat owners love their pets, but as it turns out, their pets mostly just love sleep. Cats spend an average of 13 to 16 hours a day sleeping, which comes out to almost 70% of their lives. This helps them stay alert in case of danger and conserve the huge amounts of energy required for hunting fresh prey. Of course, these days, cats get their food from a can, but they still sleep more than any other mammal, except for possums and bats. Things are worse than collapsing into bed at night only to experience hours and hours of terrifying nightmares. But if you thought the nightmares themselves sucked, guess what? It's even worse than you thought. Studies show that the more nightmares you suffer from, the more likely it is that you're also suffering from a myriad of other issues, like anxiety, depression, and sleep apnea.
Oh yeah, I am
cases of nightmares causing
dealing with that stuff.
for people who are already at risk. If you have any kids or younger siblings, you may already know that it can be hard to sleep with a baby.
Not young.
But that doesn't make the numbers any less scary. Studies show new parents can lose up to 750 hours of sleep in the first year of parenthood. That's enough to wear anyone out. Some scientists have even theorized that a newborn's cries for attention at night may be an evolutionary advantage, since sleep-deprived parents are less likely to make new siblings for babies to compete with. Wow, if you think about it, babies are kind of jerks. And finally, not only is sleep good for your memory, your mood, and your overall health, it's also good for your sex life. If you have it can lead to a lower libido and decreased interest in sex.
You're so mean.
So you heard it here first. You want to spice things up in the bedroom? Your best move is probably starting off in bed. And that's it.
And that's it. We don't want to know about our sex life. 10 rare genetic features you wish you had. I doubt it.
Probably know a bunch of people who are double-jointed or left-handed, but these biological superpowers are practically X-Men level mutations. Today we're counting down the top 10 extremely rare genetic features. First up is something straight out of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. All humans have a gene called LRP5, which regulates the production of a protein that plays a major role in bone density. When that gene mutates, it can either make your bones way weaker or way stronger. This was discovered in the 90s after a guy got in a serious car crash without breaking any bones. Tests showed that he and his relatives had bones that were 8 times denser than normal, giving them superhuman durability.
What?
All humans produce a chemical called myostatin, which limits muscle growth. But guess what? Every once in a while, someone's born with a mutation which prevents the production of myostatin, meaning they have huge muscles literally from birth. In fact, scientists have been testing a method to intentionally block myostatin production in order to stimulate muscle growth. It already works in mice, and the World Anti-Doping Agency has preemptively banned myostatin blockers in sports, just in case someone figures out how to do the same thing with humans. Number 8 could be a lifesaver if scientists can figure out how to replicate it. Total immunity to the human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, which causes AIDS. Up to 1% of people with Northern European ancestry are born with this immunity, and some companies offer a test which they claim will confirm whether or not you're one of the lucky 1%. Remember learning that your eyes sense light with rods and color with cones? Well, most people see color in 3 dimensions, red, blue, and green, but a small percentage of humans have a 4th type of cone, which means that instead of being able to see about 1 million colors, they can see 100 million. Okay, so that's not quite X-ray vision, but it does help you put together a matching outfit. Number 6 on our list should be good news for anyone who likes fast food. In 2004, scientists discovered that if your PCSK9 gene doesn't work, it means that you don't have to worry about high cholesterol, and you have 90% less chance of getting heart disease. In 2017, scientists discovered that when the SERPIN1 gene mutates, it lowers the amount of PAI1 in the body. PAI1 is found in higher concentrations in people with diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. But the SERPIN1 mutation lowers the risks associated with all of these, resulting in up to 10 years of life extension. Now, you've probably already heard of O-negative blood. People with O-negative are called universal donors because it can be donated to anyone with a common blood type. But for people with rare blood types, finding a compatible donor can mean the difference between life and death. Luckily, some people have blood which is Rh compatible with any rare blood type, but fewer than 50 such people ever have been found in the entire world. Okay, so it's not exactly bulletproof skin, but being born with an extra rib or cervical rib might just protect your neck if you get into a scuffle. The extra rib forms right above the clavicle, and about 1 in 500 people has one. Coming in at number 2 on our list is a genetic mutation present in native Tibetans and Nepalese, which increases the amount of hemoglobin in their blood. This allows them to pull more oxygen out of the air with every breath, meaning they can perform physically demanding activities at high altitudes way better than most people. Number 1 on our list is the ability to survive on 0 or next to 0 sleep. These so-called short sleepers are extremely rare, and no genetic cause for their abilities has been confirmed, though at least one researcher believes it's a mutation in the HDEC2 gene. In any case, some have theorized that famously productive historical figures like Benjamin Franklin and Leonardo da Vinci may have benefited from such a mutation.
Gross medical conditions you probably have. What?
If you're prone to obsessing over WebMD, warning. Today we're counting down the top 10 medical conditions that just about everyone has, including you. First up is onychophagia, otherwise known as chronic nail biting. Heads up, this seemingly innocent act can have some serious and gross consequences. As with most formed habits, if you're a chronic nail biter, it's likely you don't even notice how often you do it. For some, it's brought on by anxiety, stress, or even boredom. While it's incredibly common and doesn't seem like a big deal, bacteria from your nails can be transferred to your mouth and gut, making it a great way to give yourself an infection or even parasites. Speaking of your mouth, there's a good reason your dentist keeps telling you to floss. Up next is periodontal disease, also known as gum disease. Some studies show that around 80% of all adults suffer from some form of periodontal disease, with symptoms ranging from puffy, red, and sore gums to major infections that can interfere with the health of your teeth. In cases of chronic periodontitis, tooth loss can occur if the condition is not halted. So what can you do? Brush, floss, and seriously, just listen to your dentist. Ever notice your stomach gets a little wonky after that second slice of cheese pizza? You're not alone. Lactose intolerance is such a prevalent issue that in some communities, as many as 90% have issues with it. Those Got Milk campaigns may have lied to you. Scientifically, our bodies are only built to process lactose when we're young, and not in extreme amounts once we're older. Even if symptoms aren't intense, your digestive system is probably still struggling after that ice cream cone. At least it was delicious, right? Get ready to feel itchy. Next up, Demodex mites, tiny mites that live in or around hair follicles in the meibomian gland of your eyelids.
no.
In fact, they're probably on you right now. When a person reaches 18, there's a 100% chance that they've had these mites. But don't freak out. These microscopic critters are mostly harmless and invisible.
Mostly.
Break out the tissues because we feel a sneeze coming up. Next on our list, one of the most common ailments in the world.
Oh, yeah,
allergies.
that's common.
Airborne allergies affect around 40% of the population and can cause a multitude of uncomfortable symptoms like sneezing, watery eyes, itching, and in more severe cases, anaphylactic shock. Bad news for allergy sufferers, it's not your imagination. Each allergy season is getting worse due in part to climate change. Better keep those Kleenex on standby. There's a good chance at some point in your life you might find yourself lacking in the vitamin department. And one of the most common deficiencies, vitamin D. Around 3/4 of adults and teens in the U.S. have low levels of the sunshine vitamin. Some studies have shown that this vitamin deficiency has links to cancer, heart disease, and more, so it's a good idea to have your levels checked. While limiting sun exposure is good for preventing things like skin cancer, dehydration, and rapid aging, a little time in the sun helps the absorption of vitamin D. Continuing along with nutritional deficiencies, anemia is the condition when your iron consumption is too low. Anemia occurs when there isn't enough iron in the body, either due to lack of it in diet or blood issues like hemorrhaging, ulcers, menstrual problems, and others. Symptoms for anemia can include fatigue, skin pallor, shortness of breath, lightheadedness, dizziness, or a fast heartbeat. The good news is, like with vitamin D, checking for anemia is a fairly easy process that's just simple blood work. If you ever had chickenpox as a kid, this next condition could happen to you. That's right, we're talking about shingles. For those vaccinated as children, you're in the clear on this one. But for anyone who suffered with chickenpox at any point in life, then the shingles-causing virus is already living in you. The good news is that just because the virus exists doesn't mean it'll become full-blown shingles. Very uncomfortable and painful rash. The next problem is one that many of us are intimately familiar with, and one that brings back memories of puberty, high school, and embarrassment. Yep, acne. Acne vulgaris is a long-term skin condition characterized by areas of blackheads, whiteheads, pimples, greasy skin, and possible scarring. While we might not think of this as a medical condition and more of an annoying and socially distressing problem, it is something that most of us deal with. Some studies show that between the ages of 12 and 24, around 85% of Americans experience this problem. For some, it begins to calm down during their 20s, but others will experience it on and off for years. Just remember, you're not alone. If you've ever shared a drink with a friend, there's a good chance you have our final condition, oral herpes. Don't let the word herpes scare you. Unlike its sexually transmitted cousin of the same name.
Oh, gross. Oral herpes might get sexually inherited from the name. Oh, sorry, people. Hey, Aaron, say hi to the live stream. Where's my sister? Person, I don't know who you are. You have to say hi. I don't know you. 10 fascinating drink facts.
Welcome to another episode of Rankworthy, the show where we rank just about everything. With Drake's new album, Scorpion, burning up the charts, it's time to count down the top 10 most fascinating facts about Drake as voted on by you, the viewers. The Billboard Music Awards are an annual award show that honors popular musicians. The first ceremony aired back in 1990, and the big winner that year was Janet Jackson, who took home 8 awards. Drake took home a staggering 13 trophies at the 2017 Billboard Music Awards, narrowly topping previous record holder Adele's 12 wins back in 2012. Altogether, Drake has won over 100 awards for his music. That's a lot of shelf space.
Oh, yeah.
Before he wore that sweater in the Hotline Bling video, Drake starred in over 140 episodes of Degrassi's The Next Generation as Jimmy Brooks, because a stint on Degrassi is pretty much a requirement for every rising star in Canada. This Degrassi character is the source of one of his nicknames, Wheelchair Jimmy. What you might not know is that Drake rapped publicly for the first time on an episode of Degrassi, when his character comes to the rescue of a friend bombing at a talent show and embarrasses all the other teenage contestants by spitting the bars that would eventually make him a household name. Like everyone else in the mid-2000s, Drake was putting his music up on MySpace, where it got the attention of Jazz Prince, the son of famed record producer and philanthropist James Prince. Prince made it his mission to find the unsigned Drake a home at Lil Wayne's Young Money Entertainment. But Lil Wayne was less than impressed. It took a lot of convincing, but Lil Wayne finally agreed to partner with Jazz and James Prince.